to the Culturally Distinct podcast. This is your boy DJ KO. I'm glad you guys tuned back into the show. For the last 3 weeks, you guys haven't been seeing me. I had a co-host, and he's been doing a great job. Shout out to Ryan Mack, and we're doing what the series is Am I Toxic in Houston? So we had part one series that you guys can see. Part two showed already, and we're going to get together and do our part three with the ensemble of all people. I'm glad you guys tuned in. I'm glad you guys subscribed. I'm glad you guys gave me your feedback and what you like to hear and what you don't like to hear. But this is a conversation that Houston needs to have. But outside of that, I got to go back to my higher level conversations with my higher level individuals that come on the show. So today we got a individual that you guys probably know, but you probably don't know. You've probably seen some of her clients. She's always behind the scenes, but today I made her get on the scene so she could be on camera, you know what I mean? So before I get into that, I'd like to give a big shout out to my sponsors at 605. Much love to you guys. Much love to my partnership with over you guys at Red Coral. Much love. We're going to keep this thing rocking. We're going to keep this thing rolling, and we're going to do what it do. So today, I'd like to welcome you guys to the show, Miss Latoya Hurley. Hold on, let me get a hand clap. Hey, there we go. We got a hand clap. How you doing, Miss Hurley?
I'm amazing. No complaints.
That's good. That's awesome. So, look, before we get into it, so a lot of you guys see Latoya. Y'all didn't know Latoya's from New Orleans, first and foremost. We're going to get into that first. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna jump into where Latoya's from and how did she get into what she was getting into and why she's here for the event that she's going to promote. So, Latoya, let's talk about the New Orleans. Look, how did you, first of all, how long were you in New Orleans before you got here, and how was that transition?
I spent most of my childhood, so from age 7, or actually my entire childhood, so from age 7 till 19 years old, I lived in New Orleans and came to Houston after graduating high school, going to college, realizing that the degree program that I was enrolled in was not something that I wanted to do, and packed up as much stuff that I could fit in my vehicle and drove to Houston. Mm-hmm. The rest is history.
Really?
Yes.
So just no plan, or nothing. I'm going to Houston.
So a lot of people think there has to be a plan, and that is the divine conversation that's going to take place and be pivotal in everything we talk about tonight. Had no plan, had nothing outside of my brother saying that he was subleasing his place to me and that I had a place to stay. Rent would be covered for at least 30 days, and as long as I came in and covered the rent, I
Really?
could stay. That
Wow.
was the extent of it.
Wow. Really?
Exactly. That is it. No
So-
plan, no nothing.
So by you being from New Orleans and you left what time? What age?
So 19, this was in 2003,
Okay. So you was,
a few years ahead of Katrina.
Okay.
So all of my family was there during Katrina, friends, everyone I went to school with, and my parents moved to Houston shortly thereafter.
Okay.
So I came here with very little family, a brother and my father, and an aunt and uncle, and that was about it.
So you was fairly young though.
Yes.
Fairly young. So
This is something you do when you're young.
yeah, really. You can't do that. Not this age. Hell no. You can't do that. Nah, but be like 40. I'm about to make a transition to another state. Okay. Good luck. But so how was that that transition? Like coming from New Orleans, as you know, the culture and the people, and having that homey feel, and you can go by somebody's house, they cooking, they have a crawfish ball over here, turkey necks over here, somebody cooking some jambalaya, versus coming to a big city like Houston. How was that transition?
So to be honest, I'm not going to sell y'all this fantasy like, oh, it was great. And I came and all was well and we rode off into the sunset. It was a difficult transition coming from somewhere that was very much so home to a bigger city where I barely knew anyone, and having to make friends, start over, figure out what I wanted to do in life, find a career, and then establish myself here in Houston because PR was not always the goal.
Yes.
And so I always tell people I came here and started working contract and got fired a few times.
Haven't we all? Hey, shout out to getting fired. Shout out to getting fired.
Got fired a few times. So I'm on that path to realizing what it is that I wanted to do. Finally landed at Waste Management and I would spend 5 years there. And that was such a learning experience, and then also instrumental because that's when I figured out I wanted to do PR and marketing.
Okay.
So I just so coincidentally ended up in their marketing
Fell
department.
into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And get there, work there for about a year, and I'm like, I like this. I think this is what I was called to do.
Okay.
Versus I started out in college in nursing. My mother worked in the medical field, and as your parents would say, there's always a job in medicine.
Yeah.
Failed miserably, and that's when I decided to come to Houston. And so now I'm figuring it out, and I find what I like to do.
That's good. You found your passion early. So by doing PR, for the people that don't know, because okay, so when you have when we have these events, say these events, right? And there could be a red carpet, or it could just be something that a lot of constituents or political or people that have power that go to these certain events, right?
Absolutely.
But they don't know that they have a handler, what we call a publicist, right? Most people
Great
don't,
word.
a publicist, right? Most people don't know that though. So how did you like? I know you gave me a brief description on how you got into it, but how did you really get into it, and then how did you flow into it, start getting clients and stuff like that?
So, great point that you brought up. There are so many different sectors of PR. So, when I was working in corporate, PR looked like community relations. And so, what you're talking about is more of media relations and then also managing someone's public image. So, I come from corporate where it's community relations, we're doing great things in the community, give back initiatives underneath the municipalities and or city accounts that we're handling. And so it set a different tone for me in terms of professionalism, infrastructure, and not to take away from my entrepreneurs that started out fresh out of entrepreneurship, never had a corporate job, but I feel like that is the thing that gives me a competitive advantage in terms of what I bring to the table. So skip forward, I transitioned into oil and gas. I work in oil and gas for 7 years, and because I got laid off, I moved over to the operation side of the business.
Okay.
I knew that PR was what I love, so I then started the company so that I could have a connection to PR and continue to pursue my passion. And at that time, it was just a hobby.
Yeah. Okay.
I started entertaining clients. I started out in entertainment. Didn't like that. And so when you have a job, hence all those that say just quit, don't just quit. When you have a career, a job, something that you can fall back on, you can explore what different areas of a particular thing that you want to do. And so when you start talking about PR, like you said, there's red carpet, there is managing celebrities and public figures, there's the community side. If you're working in corporate, there is communications when you're working in corporate. I got a chance to bounce around and see what is it that I like, what is it that I don't like. And so over a few years, we would pursue entertainment clients, reality stars, actors, and figuring out that's not what I quite want to do. And we pivoted the business about 7 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
We've been in business for about 13 years. And so 7 years ago, pivoted the business to focus more on small business owners, small to mid-sized business owners,
Okay.
and them doing impact work in the community. So now we work with more small businesses, nonprofits, and then in terms of sectors, financial health and wellness, real estate, and nonprofit. Those are going to be our four industries. And so now that is our focus, but people that have great stories to tell, people that are making impact in the community, that is what our focus is, and that's where I spend all of my time. And so when you talk about behind the camera, you're very correct. We're telling great narratives, we're helping the community, we're bringing initiatives to the community
Okay.
by way of these different corporate or small business entities.
That's good. So how can a young person that, like you said, when you started off in nursing, it wasn't for you, but how can a young person avenue their way into it at a younger age so they can have a guideline or like a guide and saying, look, this is what I want to do. Do you guys have like, you said nonprofits, but like what is that, like a feeder system to where kids could come in and say, well, I want to learn, do an internship through you guys Do you guys like offer things like that?
I don't necessarily have an internship program only because we're at the point where we're scaling the business and I just don't have the bandwidth to
Got you.
support an internship program. However, what you just mentioned is the best way to figure out what you want to do. A lot of larger organizations do have internship programs and they allow students to come in and some of them compensate you. So where it's not something where you're coming in and you're totally volunteering your time and you're able to learn the business, learn different aspects of the business to figure out, is this what I want to do? Is this not what I want to do? And because they're short term, you spend a shorter amount of time versus me spending a year somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Right.
to then figure out this is not what I want to do.
4
So
years.
definitely. Yeah, exactly.
Right. 4 years, waste of time, right? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to those 4 years. But that was now. I had a great time in college. Shout out to Southern University. You know what I'm saying? So look. Speaking of PR, I know you have an event coming up, and I forgot to mention. You guys should have told me something. This is Women's History Month.
Yes, it is.
So on purpose, I have this shirt by Tabitha Brown. You know what I'm saying? We talking about freedom over, I forgot what it says.
Code switching.
Yeah, freedom over code switching. So those we're speaking, especially speaking about jobs. Hey man, look, you need some little freedom. Go ahead and quit.
Don't let him tell y'all that. If you do, send him an invoice so he can help you out.
Yeah, don't quit. Don't listen to me. But I'm just saying, code switching. If you're tired of code switching, you got to find something new. So speaking of that, I'm representing a woman's company, and this is Women's History Month. So shout out to all the women first and foremost. I'll give you guys a hand clap for that. So, Ms. Hurley, what does Women's History Month mean to you?
It means so much. Coming from a woman, being a woman, and then also having to navigate these different spaces. So whether it was transportation when I was at Waste Management or whether it was in oil and gas, one, I was typically the only African American that was sitting in the room. And then on top of which, I was most times the only woman sitting in the room. And so it becomes difficult. I tell people, you have to be loud enough to be heard, but soft enough for them to receive the information. And so it is a very fine dance, hence why moments like this are so important, and then also why this event is so important, because I want to provide women with the opportunities, information, and resources that I wish someone would have said, hey, you don't have to do that. Me wasting time going to college for something that I wasn't passionate about, I wish I would have been relieved of that stress or obligation, or what I thought was an obligation, to go and do something that I didn't want to do because that's what my parents wanted.
Yeah.
And I think now in this time, this new generation, they are more free, they are more willing to explore. And so that's it, freedom.
Yes. Freedom, guys.
Yeah.
Freedom. Yeah. That's real though, because just sitting there thinking about that, how you said that, how having freedom of a choice at work, that's major. Like you said you got to be loud enough to be heard, but soft enough where it's received.
Yep.
Right? And that's the hardest thing.
Yes.
You know, because most of us, especially if you're the only one, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're the only one, you know, sometimes you have to play the part. You have to play the role because it becomes intimidating sometimes for others. Others don't know how to handle you because of that. Your culture is a little different from theirs.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, man. So, but I don't want to get in, you know, my soapbox because I could go down that line. I could go down that lane.
You can go down that path?
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So let's talk about the event that you have coming up. Okay. It's a powerful event. I saw that you have a couple of people that I know on there that are very influential in the community. Could you speak on the event a little bit?
Absolutely. So Power of Vision is the name of the event. The event is intended to bring women resources and information in a comfortable setting where we can laugh and have a good time over brunch, which is a cultural phenomenon. I don't think just here in Houston, but across the board, where women come together, we drink mimosas, we have a great time, and we bond and connect. And so that is what the overall intent is. When you get there, you will be welcomed by our team of friendly faces that will give you a name tag and help you in navigating networking, because I know as you walk into some of these spaces, it can be tough, it can be difficult. to just walk up to someone and say hello, or just feel comfortable enough to speak to this person. And so that we want to create an environment where you can connect with other women and then also feel comfortable, ask questions that you wouldn't normally ask, and just have a comfortable conversation.
That's good. So now the panelists that you're going to have on, uh, who are the panelists? And what are they going to be speaking about?
Absolutely. So we cover two different realms in terms of conversation. First realm is your network is your net worth. A lot of times you don't realize we want to network up versus I remember Issa Rae said this when you should sometimes be networking across. And it's not that it's not important to network up, but pull from your network. Those are going to be the people that support you financially, emotionally, and all the things that you're going to need. And I hear a lot of people say, well, my friends and family don't support me. Get around people that will. That
Yep.
is who your tribe is. The second segment is going to be about resources, opportunities for you in the community with different businesses, and then also leveling up when we talk about opportunities. A lot of times we go into these spaces and we may not necessarily meet the criteria, but what do you need in order to meet that criteria so that A, you can do business with whether it's municipalities or a small business owner that may need your service. What are they looking for, and what do those requirements look like? So, in terms of panelists, we have Angelica Renee. She is a marketing or digital marketing specialist. She is starting up a tech organization, and so she is a woman in tech and can help you navigate from a side of this new AI landscape. That is the company and organization that she's starting. We also have Landy Spearman. She is a tech founder. She just founded a company called iShiftX. It is an AI DEI software that is your executive coach in a pocket. So if you've ever wondered how leadership professionals are navigating this space, most of them have executive coaches. If that is too expensive, this software is an opportunity for you to have your own executive coach without spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on having one. You can now get your executive coach in a pocket. Ija Johnson, she is a multifaceted entrepreneur and real estate broker, retired recently. And so I love that she retired in her 40s and was able to step away from her business. We don't talk about that enough, what the end game is. We always think, I'm going to start the business and work, 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 but never thinking, is the goal for me to create something that I can sell? Is the goal for me to retire by a certain age, and how do I work towards that? And so that's going to be the conversation surrounding your network is your network. Those people within your organization that can help you figure that side out. We have Aisha Shelton. She is the co-founder of Park Street Homes and also a realtor here in the market. Her and her husband have done a great job in leveraging their network to build generational wealth for themselves. They have a great real estate portfolio, as well as they are providing opportunities to African Americans in our community. And so how do we navigate those spaces? How do we leverage our network? And so she'll speak about that piece. We have Jaquise Jordan, Chase's vice president and senior business relationship manager. Chase has a lot of great programs. And so they came out with their $31 billion initiative to help with financial literacy, African Americans buying homes, and I say African Americans, but minorities purchasing homes, and then also helping small business owners. And so she'll talk through some of those programs and how Chase can help you in your business. We have Dr. Vanessa Barrow. She is an entrepreneur that started a business, and you want to hear her story because she started out in one facet thinking, I am going to open or purchase a practice, thinking that this is the road to success for me, and not realizing that even with purchasing a practice, it comes with other challenges that you can't outthink or forecast. And so she talks about her walk in doing so, coming into COVID and having to pivot the business, and how she has been able to stay afloat. And then also, last but certainly not least, Gayla Bethany. She is a branding photographer, helping you with your online presence, how you want to show up, how you want people to see you. And I forgot to mention me, but I think that goes without saying. I'll be sitting on the panel talking about PR, digital presence. How do you want to show up? How do you want your presence and people to perceive you? And that is going to show up before you even walk into rooms. So your name should say great things about you just from people saying, oh, I heard that name before you even enter the room. So we are going to cover you from start to finish on whether it's opportunities and how do I leverage going into business, what's the right business model for me, and or my network, how do I transition my network into something that I can leverage, or what does your digital presence need to look like?
That's good. That's a lot. That's a lot of information. Especially now, is this event strictly for women only, or can men come, or their husbands, or their significant others, their side piece? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Not side piece.
But
Not side piece.
but but this is a women's event, correct?
This is a women's event.
Okay.
I have a passion for women just because I am. We are. I personally, underneath some of my other clients, will do men's events later on in the year. But this is specifically for women because women are more marginalized than any other, or African Americans first and foremost, are more marginalized than any other gender, and then specifically in comparison for women to their counterparts, when it comes to funding, starting businesses, we are at the bottom of the spectrum when it comes down to those different aspects.
Right.
And so I want to make sure that I focus on those individuals first before we move on to men and helping others. But yes, it is strictly for women.
That's good. I mean, that means, well, to me, from the outside looking in, I think that it's powerful when you have sisters, black sisters. I'm gonna just use the term, okay, black. We have black sisters that could come together and not just, like you said, network across, but network up. And that's because when you go to events like this, you can learn a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
Too, if you're going there for that purpose.
If you're going for the right reasons.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to be messy, now that's a different question. You know.
This is not the event for you.
Right. Right. This ain't hookah. They ain't smoking hookah at this. I ain't say that out loud, did I? I'm sorry, y'all. But no, but I get it, 100%. So let me ask you this: how can individuals that know about the event, but they don't know how to pay for the event, or they don't know how to find the event, how can you find the event?
Event is on Eventbrite, and so Eventbrite is a national platform. You can go on there, search for Power Vision Event. It'll pop up. Tickets also, as long as they are still available, can be purchased at the door, but I would advise that you purchase ahead so that way you don't get to the door and they are sold out. So we would love to have you ladies there. Pre-purchase your tickets so that we can see you in the building.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Before we get out of here, I want you to give the people, what's your mission for this event?
My mission for this event is just to empower women. That is the short answer of it all. Whether you leave with one nugget or whether you leave with several contacts and resources, I want you to leave empowered and feel that you have the tools or at least a jump start to get started down the path that you need to go to meet whatever that goal is. So whether it is I want to level up in my career, or whether it is I want to start this business and be successful, whatever that goal is, we want to help you get started and achieve it.
That's awesome. I love it. I love the energy. I love the positivity. We need more like it, even though we have it. That's why I had to have Sister Hurley on today because,
Sister Hurley,
like we're in church. You know, Sister Hurley, we're going to Sister Hurley house, y'all. She cooking ham hocks today. Now, but look, Latoya, look, so before we get out of here, give the people your Instagram or your social media platform so they can find you, just so if they want to communicate or do business or anything like that.
I keep it very simple. So it is my entire name across all platforms. If you're looking for me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, it's going to be Latoya Hurley. If you are looking for the company, Innovative Marketing Group on all platforms. And actually, Innovative Marketing Group is hiring. So if you are in the market and you want to be a public relations executive, we are hiring 3 public relations executives. And so I would love to talk to you. But that is how you find me on social media.
That's awesome, guys. You heard the information here on Culturally Distinct. Y'all know what it is. I highlight Black businesses. I highlight positive things. I highlight things that I think that God is going to touch and bless, and not just bless it in this city, but bless it in multiple cities. So, guys, you already know what my information is. You already know that. I ain't got to give that. So, before we get out of here, look, we got to have a word of the day. I do a word of the day.
Okay.
Right? I normally just give a word, not a word like a passage. Only on Sundays I do that. A word. Give me a word that you want people to have going forward, leading up to the event. Just a one word.
Empowerment.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
I like that. Empowerment. I'm gonna use that all this week, guys. We're gonna use that word empowerment. All right, keep that on your mirror, on your phone. Put it in your journal. Just do that. We're gonna meditate that thing and put it into fruition, guys. I appreciate it. This is Culturally Distinct, Mr. DJ KO. I love you guys. Holla. That's it.
Okay.